My name is Joe Prim, and I am the host of Prepare.Defend.Lead. Got another great episode here for you today as we talk about getting out of our own way as we head into 2021, and also talk a little bit about one of my favorite small water purification devices. So I'll catch you on the other side of the intro.
The comfort and distractions of today collide to indulge our desires and provide a slow death by apathy. A superior primitive ethos exists. Prepare for tomorrow. Defend what you value and lead those you love. This mindset is the foundation of living an authentic life as a bold, disciplined man resolute in your mission. Prepare, defend, lead. Your mission. Own it.
All right, if this is your first time listening to Prepare, Defend, Lead, welcome. If not, it's great to have you back. There are a few things that you can do if you appreciate this podcast and want to help in moving this mission forward. That would be to subscribe so you do not miss an episode. Share it with your friends, family, anybody that you think could benefit from this podcast. And number 3, leave a review. That review may just make the difference between somebody passing right on by on Apple Podcasts or somebody sitting down or clicking the button, I should say, and giving it a listen. So, as I shuffle through my papers here a little bit and grab my notes, another beautiful, beautiful week here in Texas. I'll tell you what, we're coming up on our second Christmas, so our second December, our second winter down here in Texas, and I will never, ever, ever grow tired of 80-degree, sunshiny days in December. Had been going out on family walks and going to the park and even doing yard cleanup and raking. Such a joy when the temperatures are in the 80s and the sun is shining. It is, I'll be honest with you, a little bit tougher to get into the Christmas feel, into that Christmas spirit, because it was so associated for so many years with the cold and the ice and the snow that it is very strange to be celebrating Christmas while the temperatures are in the 80s. But I think I will choose the 80 degrees over the Christmas spirit every time. So I was able to get out to our property where we are creating and putting together our new homestead as we transition down here into Texas. I was able to get out there yesterday on Saturday with the family. The foundation is poured. All the materials, all the building materials and windows and everything have all been dropped off and ready to go. So now we're just waiting on the carpenters to get out there to start framing this thing up. And things should go pretty quick at that point. So as far as the development that we're building in, they got their gate up and the roads are done in front of our property now. A lot of the electrical poles are up. They haven't strung the electric wires yet, but hey, baby steps. We have signed up with a well company. They have like a 3 or 4 month wait before they'll start digging anyway, so we're signed up and have been working on getting our paperwork with that company and with the state of Texas all signed so that we can rock and roll on that as soon as they are available. And we ordered up the appliances last weekend. It's kind of crazy with all this COVID stuff has had created issues all over the place as far as companies getting things, as far as factories shut down and closed or slowed down. So I was looking for appliances at a few different locations where we wouldn't be able to get all 3 appliances until maybe May of next year. So I was able to lock in a good deal on appliances, and we'll have them delivered here this next week. Took a little running around, but like I said, I figured I would go ahead and order them plenty early just to make sure we had them versus wait until we needed them and expect them to be in stock someplace. So we continue forward with this experience and this experiment that our family is going on of creating something new down here in Texas. We had a lot of conversation on the way out to the property on what we're looking for animals and what we want to do as we begin anew and kind of try to go about this in a little bit different manner maybe than we did last time on the last homestead there in Illinois. So we continue to talk about these things as a family, and the reason we talk about them as a family is because really the decisions that I make or that my wife makes really affect everybody, and they create extra chores and extra work and extra responsibilities that have a dramatic effect on everybody, whether it be making sure that animals are fed each day or watered each day, or even holding us back from going on family vacations or going out to stay late into the night or late into the evening sometimes, depending on what time sunset is, to make sure that your chickens or ducks are locked up for the night. So there's a lot of responsibilities, and last time we just kind of wung it, and we just kind of did things, and we did things the way that we wanted to do things, and that worked for us, or I should say we made that work for us. But it wasn't easy and made for a very much of a lifestyle change compared to what we were used to. So now that we've had a little over a year now to step back away from what we had, we are trying to take into consideration all of our past experience as well as our desires in order to make good decisions moving forward here in Texas. So it's always exciting to get out there into the property and see the exotic animals that they have on the out in this development for the AG exemption, and just go on a nice family walk. Always, when we go on walks, we're always keeping an eye out for sheds, for deer antlers, and for antlers and horns from some of the other animals that are on the property. So that's always kind of fun. My wife found a couple of things, and my son found some, and my daughter found some broken antlers. So it's always fun to get out there, explore, breathe some fresh air. It's quiet, it's clean. I'm telling you guys, it makes a big difference when you get out of the house with your family. You know, it's very easy to get caught up in family time being watching a movie or having pizza, and there are a lot of other things that build experiences and build memories in a much better way than getting caught up in watching TV. And believe me, I'm speaking about this from experience. That has always been my default, was, family time, we'll watch a TV show, or we'll watch a movie, we'll have something to eat, or have pop some popcorn while we're doing it. And while I think that there's a place for that, it's very easy to make that the default, and it's very easy to become completely distracted when you're watching a movie. Some are watching the movie, others are playing on their phones or on their tablets, and it's really not family time. Unlike when you go for a walk or go to the park where there's action, and we see new things and we hear things, and give us the opportunity to explore and get out of our comfort zone. So always going to encourage myself and my wife and my kids to get out of the house whenever we can, to just explore and go on an adventure, because you never know what you're going to see or what you might find. So a couple changes coming up here for this whole big Prepare.Defend.Lead. So on December 31st will be the last day to sign up for the free download of the book that I'm working on right now. It might come back in the future. I'm just not sure exactly what that is going to look like. For those that don't know, I've been working on a book for some of you guys, seems like a very long time, I've titled Open. And this book came out of a real rough period of time in my life where I kind of made some decisions to move forward in a different sort of life and a different way. And this really was a marker at the beginning of this journey for me out of the everyday, out of a rinse and repeat lifestyle. So as I moved forward, this book and what I'm talking about in the book, these 6 principles of the open concept, really became some waypoints for me, an idea of how I could continue moving forward. So that book right now, if you go to Prepare.Defend.Lead.com, you can hit right there on the title page. There is a link to sign up for that book. And the deal that I have right now is for a free digital copy of that book when I release it. So I'm going to cut that off on December 31st. Again, where I go from there, and all of you guys that have signed up, you're going to get your digital copies for sure. How I'm going to work that book into the deal going forward, how much I'm going to charge for it, I haven't exactly worked out yet, but I wanted to give you guys a fair warning that was going to happen, because I know some of you guys listen to this podcast regularly and you've kind of put that on the back burner, something that you wanted to do but haven't done. Go do that right away. Again, December 31st, I'll be pulling that offer down. Also on December 31st, I will be pulling the archives of Ever Vigilant, my old podcast, off of YouTube. Again, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with them, what they will be used for moving forward, but I know that I want them off of the YouTube platform for now. Again, something that I want to give you guys a fair warning about, so that if you do want to go back and listen to those episodes of Ever Vigilant, or at least sort through them and download a couple of them, go ahead and do that while you can. December 31st, we'll be pulling that off. I got a bunch of cool stuff that I got planned for going into 2021, which we're going to talk about today. But number one at the top of the list, make sure if you do not follow this podcast on Instagram and on Facebook, go and do that. Prepare, Defend, Lead. Or also sign up for the newsletter, because that is where in January 31st I will be revealing the new t-shirt for 2021. I spoke last week on the episode about this shirt and about the idea behind it, about the revelation of thinking about the idea, the concept of without fear there is no risk, but without risk there is no reward. And that is going to be the motto, that is going to be the focus of this whole effort of Prepare, Defend, Lead moving into 2021, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm excited to reveal this shirt. Maybe it's something that I do monthly, maybe it's something that we'll do yearly, coming up with a motto as we move forward as a group into that year that we can constantly refer back to keep us motivated, to keep us going in the right direction, something that will serve as a foundation, an idea for that year. And then on January 1st, I will be starting PDL Raw, Prepare, Defend, Lead Raw, which will be a daily recap, raw, live video that I will do each day throughout 2021. It's a major commitment on my part, and I think some days it might just be a quick 2-minute hit. In other days, I think it'll be up to 10 minutes. I want to keep it between 2 and 10 minutes. It'll be just a daily. It'll either be a lesson that I'm learning that day. It'll be maybe something that's going on in my life, something that I'm learning about my kids, or something in my marriage, maybe politics, maybe religion. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to leave the door completely open on where those episodes go. So I'm kind of looking forward to being able to speak on anything. It'll kind of be a little bit like going back to the old Guerrilla Traffic cast that I did with Ever Vigilant, where completely unscripted and raw and just, hey, this is what's going on. So we'll see as the year continues. Maybe that'll get tweaked and changed around and the topics will change. But I'm excited to get that going. I'm excited to be able to build that digital diary, that opportunity for you guys to get to see what I'm doing, what I'm learning, what I'm going through. And gives me an opportunity to become better at communicating my ideas, better at communicating with you guys, and hopefully better at helping you guys move forward from where you are maybe in your life. So in this episode, I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about this week. I do a lot of journaling. I do a lot of self-evaluation, a lot of looking at my life, where I'm at, what's going on, where I can improve, where I'm doing well. So I'm always doing that. And so I've always got a pile of notes here and there and everywhere. But a lot of what I think I'll be doing on this podcast and on the other stuff going forward is kind of referring back to that and kind of talking through some of those points. Because not only does it help me, I hope that it helps you see things in a little bit different light. So as we go into 2021, now, really, the only better time than starting to plan for 2021 than now would have been a few months ago. But all we have in reality, if you haven't been thinking about 2021, is to begin to plan for 2021 today. Because the reality is, no change comes without action. So, for me, I used to hate New Year's. New Year's for me was the absolute worst holiday. I loved going through Christmas or Thanksgiving and then into Christmas, the holiday season, and all the after effects of Christmas and the joy of that time of the year. And then it would come to a screeching halt, and New Year's Eve into New Year's Day were always the two most depressing days of a year for me. Because as everybody else was maybe reflecting on what they had done that past year or what great hopes they had for the future, I wasn't there. I looked back at my past year and thought, what did I do? I went to work every day. I took care of my family. I took care of my yard. I took care of my cars. Whoop-de-doo. This is what I have to look forward to going into the next year. More responsibilities, more just going to a job I don't like every single day. Every day getting up early to go someplace that I don't like, to pay for some stuff that I don't really want. And it drove me nuts. My life had just become a rinse and repeat. It had nothing to do with the way that I had dreamed or the way I had thought that my life could possibly be when I was 18, 19, 20 years old. And I thought that I had things figured out, and I thought that I knew where I was going. So every year at New Year's, I was depressed. I was upset. I was frustrated. I hated those days. In fact, a lot of years, I didn't even stay up till midnight. I'd go to bed at my regular bedtime on New Year's Eve and get up at my regular get-up time on New Year's Day. And this is when I was in my 20s. This is when I had friends, I had places to go. But those 2 days were the most depressing days of my year because I saw no future. I saw nothing different going forward. And I know that some of you guys that are listening to this podcast feel the same way. And I think that a lot of people get drunk and trashed on New Year's Eve for that exact same reason. It's not a celebration of going into a new year. It's a way to drown out the fact that they've got nothing going their way. They've got nothing going to look forward to heading into the following year. So as I said before, that change requires action. And I want to repeat that again, because if you are not happy where you're at, change requires action. It's way too easy to get caught up in a circle. Prayer, asking for advice, reading another book, those are all great and very important things to do, but not when they prevent you from taking action. At some point, you need to move forward. For me, the revelation came this week as I was sorting through my thoughts that for many of us, and maybe every time, and maybe every one of us, is really the builder of the prison that we're stuck in. We built it. We are the ones that created the life that we are not happy with. We have nobody to blame but ourselves for the fact that we are where we're at. We are the ones that continue to live out this life day after day, week after week, putting a fake smile on our face because we have nobody to blame but ourselves. But what I realized was even worse than this is the fact that the majority of us have the key to our own freedom in our back pocket. And we sit in the cell that we could free ourselves from at any time, and we peer out the barred window at those that we believe have freedom. And we think, if I was free, I would get a new job. If I was free, I would build a deeper relationship with my wife. Or if I was free, I would start a homestead or move across the country. All these things we think that we would do if we were free. But the reality is we hold the key to that freedom in our pocket. And what we need to do is act on that. And for some of you, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you've been talking for weeks, months, maybe even years about getting a new job. And you know what you need to do. You know that all you got to do is flip that switch on LinkedIn. All you got to do is speak with a professional resume writer. Some of you might be just a phone call to a friend, and you know you could get a job within a couple weeks, but you're so comfortable. We become so comfortable in the prison that we created that we fear leaving. We fear stepping outside of that door because it's unknown. We're afraid of the unknown. So even though we don't like where we're at, we'll continue to go back to the unknown. Some of you know what you need to do and what you need to say to get your marriage back on the right course. You know where things veered off. You know where things went wrong. You know what you said that hurt her. And yet you don't want to apologize. You don't want to get things going back on the right track. You've created this prison of this rough marriage, and you are content to sit in your comfort zone and leave it that way. Change requires action. Until you move forward, until you change your direction, you're going to stay where you're at. So my advice, my thought, and what I'm doing is I'm preparing now for my prison escape on January 1. I'm going to be spending the next few weeks taking notes, evaluating where I am, and making sure that come the beginning of this next year, I will not let fear hold me back from where I can go. I will not let fear hold me back from creating the podcast or from finishing Open. I will not let fear hold me back from becoming the father that I know that I can be, or from becoming the husband that I know that I can be. I will not let fear hold me back from developing Prepare.Defend.Lead into the business that I know it can be, because I know the impact that it could have. I know the impact that my vision, my idea here of what I'm building can have. But if I want, I can sit here in my comfort zone of this prison, and I can listen to podcasts, and I can read books, and I can ask for advice. Or I can unlock that door, swing that door open, and step forward into the future. And it won't be easy. It will be difficult. But at the end of the day, you will know that you didn't stay in your prison, that you took a risk. And we'll go take this full circle back to the model for 2021. Without fear, there is no risk. Without a risk, there is no reward. All right, so anybody that's into preparedness or that sort of idea of EDC, everyday carry, and bug out bags or go home bags or get home bags understands the importance of hydration. It does not take very long to put yourself in a very, very difficult place to recover from by getting dehydrated. We love to go back to how many days you can go without water before you die. But the reality is that's really not a very good way to weigh how necessary water is. Because number one, it really depends on where you're at. The climate, the temperature, your activities. If you're stuck in the mountains, or whether you're stuck in a desert area, or whether you're in the woods, can make a huge difference in the amount of exertion you are going through, or the amount of the availability of water, and how quickly you become dehydrated. So hydration is very high on the list for something to carry with you, but also for you to have, just for not even getting lost someplace, right? If a tornado goes through your area, a lot of times the water sources will become contaminated. You can have a hurricane go through and fresh water be very difficult to come on. So having water filtration, and for me, I'm a guy who likes options. Having a lot of different options makes sense. But one of my favorite products that I carry in several of my bags in different areas, because I think that it is so useful and so universal, and there's so many different options to use it, that I wanted to talk about it today. And it's called the Sawyer Mini Water Filtration System. What I really like about this little filtration system is that you could really stick it in your cargo pocket. And if you wanted to, you could probably carry it in your jacket pocket. It's very, very small. But it also has a lot of different options to it. In the package, it comes with the filter. It comes with a squeeze bag. It comes with a small straw. And it comes with... Sorry about that. Had to get that dog quieted down. So there are many different... I just was going over what was in the package, I guess. But there are many different ways to use it. So what I think is really nice about it is you can screw it onto a water bottle. So if you have a water bottle filled with dirty water from the river, or for me, I like it because even in an urban environment, you may find a used water bottle laying around, right? They're everywhere. But you don't know how contaminated the water is that you might be getting from wherever you can find it in an urban environment. So you can screw this little filter right onto the top of a water bottle, onto the same threads, and you can drink out of the top of the filter. Suck the water right through like a straw. Or let's say you can't find a water bottle, but you find a cup. Or maybe that's all you have in your backpack is a water bottle with a wide mouth, and you need to fill it up in the river. There's a straw that comes with this, like I said, so you can suck that water through that straw. Or maybe you're in a situation where you're trying to just get a little bit of hydration out of a puddle, or an area where you can't fit a water bottle into in order to fill it up. You could use that straw to get into a crack or a crevice as well. You can use this filter in line in your hydration bladder. So you just make sure that you follow the arrow for flow direction, and you could put dirty water into your hydration bladder and fill that up in a lake or a river or any dirty water supply and put it in line, and that way you can just use your regular end of the hose to the bite end of the hydration bladder to drink through, or your Camelback. And then the other way that you can use it would be to fill up the squeeze bag with water. So let's say you want to make sure that you keep your water bottle clean, whether it be, or your canteen, you make sure that you want to keep that clean, the inside of that clean. So what you do then is you take the squeeze bag that comes with this, and again, it rolls up, it's very small, very compact. You take the squeeze bag down to the river or wherever your water source might be, you fill up that squeeze bag, and then you screw the filter onto the top of that squeeze bag, and then you can squeeze that clean water into your canteen or into your water bottle. So there's several different ways to use it, which is one of the main reasons why I like it. It's very compact. It will filter a lot of water. Each of these will filter up to 100,000 gallons of water, which I think is quite remarkable in this 2-ounce package. So as far as filtration effectiveness, it removes 99.99999% of bacteria, including Salmonella, cholera, and E. coli, and 99.999% of protozoa, which would include Giardia, without using chemicals. So for on the go, in your bug out bag, in your backpack, your EDC bag, wherever you think that it might be handy to have some sort of filtration device, especially if you're going hiking or into an area where fresh water might be difficult to come by, or even as I was saying, I think these things are less than $25. It's a handy thing to have around the house, even for just natural disasters. One of these could be priceless. For our main home water filtration, the suburb that we live in here has had problems with mussels contaminating the water supply. So the water supply is not potable. So we use a Berkey to filter our water, which if you are looking for a bigger filtration system and the ability to filter gallons of water at a time, our Berkey is hooked up just with the black filters, but then we also added the fluoride filters as well. So there are a few different ways that you can set this up with different types of filters, but definitely look into the Berkey if you are looking for a filter that would be able to clean gallons of water at a time. And we've been using that Berkey. It is withstood the abuse and the test of time for 5 or 6 years now, and that's with kids using it. We have not had any problems with the valve. We've replaced the filters only one time, and that was because at the old homestead, the water had so much calcium in it that it really took its toll on those filters. Otherwise, those filters will last a very long time. All right, as we wrap up the show, 2 things to remember. Number 1, begin to get yourself set for a spectacular 2021. I think that it very well could be a rough year, but the year will be what you make of it. There are many people who have had success this past year despite all of the hiccups and all of the craziness and all of the, well, we'll just say disaster that 2021 appeared to many to be. For me, it has been a good year. We have made a lot of changes. A lot of cool things happened with buying the property and getting a home built on it, and a lot of growth in myself as I did the 75 hard challenge and then rolled into, a few months later, into the Wake Up Warrior challenge. And I am looking forward to 2021. Whatever challenges, whatever difficulties it might bring, we will always do our best to be prepared, to defend, and to lead. With that being said, if you do not have any water purification systems set up at all where you live, check out that Sawyer Mini. I think that it would be a great place to start because it is a product that you will never outgrow, because you can always find a place for it, whether it be in your glove box, your back pocket, or your EDC bag. Give it a look on Amazon or wherever you buy your gear. Please check out Prepare.Defend.Lead.com. Check out the t-shirts and the coffee that I'm selling on there. Got some unique t-shirts, like remember the Alamo shirt with the big Bowie knife on it. We got a cool looking retro with Texas on it, Prepare, Defend, Lead. We have several cool shirts on there, and I'm always adding more. And then we have some great coffee. I just ordered up some coffee for my parents and for my brother-in-law for Christmas gifts, and some more coffee to keep this house of mine supplied through December. So I appreciate your support. Those of you that have been buying products and giving me your reviews and feedback, I do appreciate that. And we will keep this mission going forward. Thanks. As always, hold fast and God bless.